I'm Amy Lovegrove. I'm a second year PhD student in the School of Bioscience at the University of Southampton. Over the summer I completed the Summer School for Sustainability at the University of Gothenburg from my kitchen. This is just a little insight into what I did, what was included even in the prospectus and everything that we did. The assessments class is what I liked, and sort of doing a summer school whilst also being a full-time PhD student and during lockdown. So what did I do? That's a good question. The summer school finished 2 months ago. It ran for about 4 weeks. It was really nice having it online because it does fit in really well with what I was doing. Disappointing I couldn't go to Sweden. But hopefully next year they'll be able to run it in person. But they did a really great opening ceremony. They got Swedish folk music, they talked about Swedish culture and lifestyle, and they made a really good quiz for us and recipes to make Swedish delicacies, which I did not delve into because some of it involved fish. But why did I want to do it? So I came from a very heavy biology background and didn't really touch on a lot of social issues to do with sustainability and climate change. So I was able to choose the module within the School of Sustainability for climate change and inequalities. So how different climate change disasters, for example, affect different social classes, different economic groups, genders, races, ages, everything. I'm really into policy, even though it's not necessarily exactly what I do for my PhD, which is quite heavy molecular biology. Still sustainability, but it gave me a more holistic view. And that's why I wanted to apply for it, because it's still sustainability and climate change that I'm interested in and that my research is focused on, but also from a new perspective. So after the opening ceremony where we got to meet our lecturers, the one for my module was called BART. We started pretty much straight in with the lectures the next day. We had about 4 hours of lectures a day. So one of them was just them talking to us about a particular theme, and then we'd go into breakout groups that were allocated to us sort of at random. We'd each read a paper and then we'd discuss it. And I found that really interesting because it wasn't anything that I'd sort of looked into before. I don't look for climate change and social justice papers. So yeah, that was the layout of the lecture sessions, and then we'd also have time to go away and read about things that interested us, particularly from the lecture, and prepare for the next day's reading. We got allocated the papers, like I said. So because the summer school is 7.5 credits that you can apply to your degree if you want to, I didn't, because I don't do any taught aspects, this was more just for personal development. There are assessments that you do get marked for, and you have to pass them in order to get the credits for the summer school. The first one that we did was an essay. We got to choose a topic that interested us out of a selection of 8, I think. I chose, that's a good question. What did I choose? I chose climate change and disasters, which is a very broad topic, and you got to address it in any way that you wanted to. And because I come from biology and from climate change, I wrote about how privilege from, the global north and how it impacts, and we have the money to recover from hurricanes, whereas people from poorer areas maybe don't. So that was a really good introduction to how to apply the knowledge that we were given in the lectures into an essay, and it's just marked on a scale of 1 to 15. The second assignment that we did was a policy document, like recommendations. You had to pretend that something had happened and you were now making recommendations based off of that. I chose COVID-19 because it was very pertinent over the summer this year, and it was quite a big document. They wanted quite a lot from you, but it gave you a really good sense of how to apply this outside of scientific writing and outside of academic papers. It was something new to do, and something that I don't think I'll get the chance to do again through my PhD. So I really enjoyed it. So the biggest challenges I think personally were being able to manage my time for the summer school, because I didn't realise how much of an undertaking it would be. Having 4 hours of lectures plus the assignments, the preparations, the paper reading, as well as doing my PhD full time. So I was in the lab during the day, had to make time around the lectures and then come home and do things in the evening, which are all things that I was, perfectly willing to do. Just getting into the rhythm of being able to get into a routine that made it easier over the span of 4 weeks. It went really quickly, but I got a lot out of it. I learned a lot of things that I wouldn't have covered otherwise, which is really great. Obviously working from home, not ideal. I half spent the time working from my desk in the Oceanography Centre where I'm based, and half from here on days when I was working from home when I didn't need to be in the lab. It was a very much mixed bag. It's easier to concentrate, I think, when you're in the environment, in an office, with the other PhD students, with other people around you. It's easier to get into that mindset, whereas at home I have my cats that I'm constantly being distracted by, and I work at my dining table. So it was a bit of a challenge to stay focused and, especially for 2 hour lectures at a time, and then you have lunch and then you have another 2, to be able to stay in that focused mindset while also thinking I've got so much to do for my PhD. But we got there. Took a while, but we got there. But I really loved the summer school. There were course reps that are from the University of Gothenburg that were always there for a chat. We made a Teams channel. There was a Teams team for the summer school students, so we could all talk to each other across different modules. We also had the opportunity to apply for a design jam, so it wasn't compulsory as part of the school, you could just do it if you wanted to, where you were each allocated a United Nations Sustainability Development Goal. We got to choose between a couple, and we chose marine conservation, which I think is goal 14, and you had to think of a novel solution to a problem within that, the remit of that goal. And that was really exciting, and I got to work with people from all the other modules. I got to meet someone who also goes to Southampton, as well as people from South Africa and America and Germany and Belgium, and really get a sense of what they do as well. And it was really great to be able to make those friends and understand the different ways that we have all been learning on the summer school. It's something that I'll definitely be looking to maybe do a different one next year, and I would love to go to Gothenburg. But it was just a great experience. You get so much out of it, and even though it is, it is a lot of commitment, especially if you have other things, like if you have a job outside of your studies, it's something you do need to consider, but it's definitely worth it. Absolutely loved it, and these are now things that I can apply to my PhD because I can now see it from a new perspective, and that's really benefited me. So I hope that this has been useful, an insight into how the summer school works and what you can expect from it. Obviously they're all different, even between modules that I did, they're all different, but yeah, I hope that it has been helpful, and thank you.